Hey everybody, Bryan here with Anita Goodesign, and today we're going to be doing another Watch and Stitch live with you here, and I'm going to be covering today a lace ornament, probably the most complex project you will ever undertake, because there's one step, and that's it. So we're going to dive into all that, and really, since this is just a straight embroidery run, once we get going, I'm going to give you some other information, talk about some other tidbits, kind of explain the Anita Goodesign process as well. But let us know how you're doing in the chat. If you've done lace ornament projects as well, feel free to chat it up. We have Brooke on the other end monitoring the comments, so she'll be there to answer any questions you have or point you in the right direction if you're looking for any particular links to things, such as where to get the Watch and Stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and get this project started. So what we're going to cover here is, one, I have the tutorial printed out. You don't have to print out yours. I just did it. Well, I didn't do it. I just walked in here and sat down. Everybody else set it up for me. But what's important is you can either look at it on your tablet, computer. You can print it out if you like it that way. But on the very front page, you're going to have your materials list. So what you need for this project. And then inside, of course, you'll have the shortest picture page you've ever seen for our picture instructions, and then just one step for the actual file. And I'll explain how our tutorials work as well here in a moment. But first thing I'm going to do is follow the materials list. Got some water-soluble stabilizer, a hoop that actually is close enough to the size range. I don't need a huge hoop to do this unless I'm going to multiply it up in the hoop as well. So I'm going to go ahead and now get that loaded in. I've got my thread already in the machine. It's already threaded. The file's pulled up. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just run it, and then we'll talk about it, since this has about a 20-minute runtime on it. So first and foremost, while this is stitching out, in regards to the tutorials themselves, they're all pretty much structured the same way. You're generally going to have an introduction page that's going to walk you through any materials you need. And that's mostly relevant to project type of collections, because with a quilting collection, we don't know if you're going to be making just one or two quilt blocks for something, if you're making a crib quilt, king size quilt. So we really don't have a materials list for that. But for quilts, we do have our quilting calculators, our fabric calculators, free for everyone on our website. So that's usually what you're going to find on the intro pages of any of our tutorials. When you go inside the tutorials, it'll usually have an about section or kind of explaining the project, but this one's really cut and dry. It's as easy as it gets. So we're just using that water-soluble stabilizer. I like using the fibrous kind. As you can see on some of the other examples that haven't been washed out yet, it's fibrous, it's not plastic, because when you're stitching on something, you don't want those needle marks to actually perforate a non-woven material. So very important that you go with our recommendation on any type of fibrous water-soluble stabilizer, 1 or 2 layers depending on the stitch count. Further in the tutorials, we always have our picture steps. So this one is so simple that it's literally just telling you, hey, go ahead and make sure you hoop. Hold it over this way. Make sure you go ahead and hoop your water-soluble stabilizer. And then it's also mentioning in here to wind the bobbin. Since this little guy is going to be seen on both sides, then we want the front and the back to match respectively. This one was not done with with that. When we're running samples, we oftentimes will not wind the bobbin, because ours are usually ran so that we can, one, test the design, and then use the finished item in our tutorials. But you can see on the back here that if we had, trying to hold this up so you can see the whole thing, if we had actually used a matching bobbin on the back, you wouldn't see any of the white from the bobbin underneath. So usually just winding your bobbin to match the top thread is the best practice for something that is a freestanding object. And that's what our lace ornaments are for. Of course, this could also be a charm, it could be an earring, whatever you want to make it. So that's going into the picture steps, and then likewise, it's very simple. It just says stitch it out on there. It's then showing you afterwards. You can use a bowl with some warm water, a little bit of OxiClean will really get everything out. However, when it comes to things like ornaments, I do want some body to it. So I don't want it to just be like flimsy and flopping around. So typically I won't use any OxiClean when I'm rinsing out something that is going to be a freestanding item. Now if I'm using water soluble on a garment or a towel or something like that, I want to massage and get all of that water soluble out. You can tell if there's still water soluble in it based on how it dries. If it dries really stiff, then there's still more water soluble. And that's usually what I like for things that are freestanding, is to just barely wash it out enough to where you just don't see it anymore. But when it dries, it'll dry stiff. However, we don't want that with things like our towels or garments or anything that you want to be soft afterwards. So that's when you really want to massage all that water soluble out of there. So once you glance through all the picture steps, the number steps are what you always really want to follow when it comes to our tutorials. They're the first thing you should be looking at, and then the picture steps are what you refer to when you need further explanation of the number step. Now this number step is any color lace. So that basically just means thread it, put in your stabilizer, put it in your machine, and then just press go. The digitizing does all the rest of the work for you. And you'll also notice in our tutorials, you do not need any type of digitizing software to see the actual designs themselves, because once we are finished with them, we scan them in and use the actual finished image in our tutorials. And then you can see to the right of the picture is the file name in bold. Below it, you're going to have your size, so you know what size hoop you can put in, as well as a stitch count. This one has a stitch count of around 15,600 stitches. To me, that means one layer will probably be fine for the actual water-soluble stabilizer. Once it starts creeping up towards that 20,000, that's when I'd probably end up using 2 layers. Once it gets even further than that, you may be going to 3 layers. I can't think of an instance where we've used more than 3 layers, even on our industrial machines with a lot, like hundreds of thousands of stitches in a single stitch out. But that's usually why we have those stitch counts in there, is to give you an indicator as to when you will need to double up or triple your actual stabilizer. It also comes with experience and is based on how your machine performs as well. And would you mind cutting to the camera on the machine for me? Oh, perfect. So what I wanted to talk about with what it's doing right now, you notice how at first it went and did this really wide fill stitch. By wide, I mean the actual density of it. And what that's doing is giving a good foundation of underlay stitching for the rest of these satin stitches to go on top of. Because we can't just stitch in thin air. Oftentimes we'll either do it this way, or we'll do no fill stitch underneath and use an applique of organza, or something that's sheer so that it has a body to stitch on, but you can still see through it as well. It's always satisfying watching it go through and do all the various layers of stitching, because satin stitches are made of underlay stitches, then comes back on top of to do the actual finished satin stitch. So, guy's taking off. All right. So before I continue with any other information, how about some prizes? Can't hear anything. Brooke, what about prizes?
Prizes sound good.
Okay, we'll do some prizes. So what I want you to do is type in the word owl in the comments, and we'll pick a winner in just a few. Type in owl in the comments. The winner will get a $20 gift certificate to use on our website for whatever you like. That is a standard retail product. And speaking of specials, we also have a back to school BOGO going on right now. So buy one, get one. All of our educational curriculum is buy one, get one. Of course, the one that you get for free is going to be the cheaper of those 2 options. But you can go on our website and you can go there and see all the various options. But one of those will be Watch and Stitch. So if there's been other months you've wanted, but you've been looking for a discount on it, now's a great time to go ahead and lock in that special. If you're watching this and you haven't purchased August yet, but you want to do some of the projects, you can get August and you can get another month for the price of one. Buy one, get one. It's amazing. We also have on special for you today, as a flash sale, we have our pocket animals. So these came out back in 2020. And of course there are zipper bags, but how we're doing them is we're doing them in 2 hoopings. So when we have something decorative like this, it might be 3 hoopings actually. I haven't seen the design file because we have various different freestanding objects. We have a decorated back, and then we have the side with the zipper, etc. So it's just a standard zipper bag, but you're doing it in just more than 1 hooping. And then you'll bring over your design and the freestanding elements to finish it up in the final hooping that actually makes the zipper and attaches all the pieces together. So this one was a lot of fun, easy to use. Remember when it came out, everybody liked this one. I think they're showing you the llama one as well. But a lot of different ones to get through, or do rather, in this collection. And again, that is Pocket Animals, which is on sale 50% off, typically $29 and some change. But for you today, $15, because I made it happen, just me. I don't even think the web team knows yet, so they're gonna have to put that on special. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of hop into some more education here, but first, to show you some of the other designs that are in this lace ornament watch and stitch. Got an acorn. We have a design. What is that? It looks good. And of course a floral design as well. But all those are in there, 1 step each, very easy to do, especially if you have young ones who are kind of curious as to what you're doing on your machine or want to kind of interact with it. I would say something like a lace ornament or charm or something like this is probably the best way to start someone out brand new, especially if they're younger, where they may not have the patience to help you finish a queen size quilt or anything. They'll definitely have the patience to sit down for 20 minutes, throw in some stabilizer, thread the machine, press go, and have the gratification of something they can use immediately when they're done. So since Christmas and everything else is coming up, these make great gifts because you can put in your large hoop, a couple layers of water soluble, and then just have a whole slew of these going and just let it run. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead. Tracy Watson, you are the winner. Congratulations. Go ahead and shoot us an email at customerexperience@anita-goodesign.com. Let us know you're the winner, and we'll send you that $20 gift card over that you can use today. Congratulations. So what I want to talk to you about as well is, standard embroidery is what we're doing right now. It doesn't feel like you're doing standard embroidery because it should. The machine does the embroidery, programmed by us, but that is one of the 4 major techniques that we use at Anita Goodesign. We have a lot of various applications, but the core principal fundamental techniques, the 4 that I always like to talk about: standard embroidery, which is literally just hooping whatever you're going to be stitching on, threading your machine, reading your directions, and then press and go. That's all there is to standard embroidery. We also have applique as one of our major foundations. Folded fabric is another one, which basically replicates the traditional look of hand or paper piecing, meaning you have that folded edge. And then we have quilt block. So when you learn those 4 different techniques, you're literally able to do just about every single thing Anita Goodesign has to offer. The only additional thing you really need to learn, if you haven't learned already, is just doing straight stitches whenever it comes to a project that you're sewing multiple hoopings together, like a quilt, for instance. So to kind of show you some examples of those different techniques, and this is from the August release that I'm showing you here. Make sure I'm not holding it upside down. So this one is circular Botanicals, and essentially it's just a quilt block with embroidery on it. So you're only using 2 of those 4 techniques to do this entire quilt. Then of course you're sewing the blocks together, backing it, and binding it. And you can see here that there's no quilting all the way through. It's just stitching in the ditch to combine the back, because our quilting stitches, whether it's stippling, whether it's free motion, you name it, is done as we go. So we even add in, with our quilt blocks, we'll add in, the batting as we go. We'll add in any of the fabric. It'll do all the design as well as those quilting stitches. So very, very handy. Saves you a lot of time, and you don't have to quilt by check if you don't have a long arm. So that was just using 2 of those 4 techniques. Then another one here from August. Gotta make sure I'm not holding this upside down. Is the Dragonfly Garden. So this one is using all 4 of those techniques for each individual block. What do I mean by that? Well, let's isolate one of these guys here as best I can. As I wrinkle this up. We use my trusty pointer. So, of course, we have the quilt block itself, which its outer dimensions are past and end at the green border, just outside the green border. So this whole thing is one quilt block and one hooping. On here, I can identify that it's a quilt block, so there's one of the 4. It has embroidery on it. I can also see that we did applique with clear vinyl on the wings to kind of add to the translucent effect you have from dragonflies. So we have those 3 techniques, and finally we have folded fabric as well. So we have this nice folded edge, not covered by any stitching. That's what we refer to as folded fabric, but it's really just our way of replicating, like I mentioned, those traditional techniques of hand piecing or paper piecing to get that folded edge, but in the hoop with our digitizing software. So this block can look professionally done the way it is. Your very first time doing it, you can have no experience whatsoever. I had 0 experience when I first started, and within my first week of, after my first week of training, I was able to do everything here. So when you get any of our stuff from Anita Goodesign, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by how many different aesthetic looks and different projects you see out there, because they're all just using those 4 principal techniques. That's all you really need to focus on learning. Anything else is just going to be an aesthetic application that's based on those core principal techniques. So to show you some other examples, because we're doing a freestanding project right now, and this one is the mod alphabet that also came out this month. So on this, it is freestanding. Looks like they use tearaway on this one, but you can use water soluble as well. Has a trapunto effect to it because they use some polyfill in there. Finished on both sides. They wound the bobbin as well to match that border. But this is just using embroidery and applique. That's it. There's nothing else in here other than those 2 techniques. It's just that we're making it into freestanding. And to finish the back side, we actually, once we're done with all the design elements on the front, we'll pull the hoop out, flip the hoop over, and attach any additional batting or polyfill in the back fabric, and then tack that down, trim it up, and then finish the whole outside stitch. So that way it's finished on both sides. So again, when you're looking at these, this is how I learned to look at it when I first started. It's not how complicated is this going to be. It's just using 2 of those 4 techniques. I already know how to do those. And the reason I keep saying that is because applique is always done the same way. And that's just to tack the fabric down. Anything that happens after you tack the applique down and trim it is just embroidery. You just let the machine do the work. Doesn't matter how complex it looks, we programmed that in there for you. Finally, I'll show you one more thing from August, real quick. So also in August, we had our mini gift card bags. Of course, we have Christmas and everything coming up. So we have several different gift card bags for you to make. There is a lot in that collection to go throughout the year. So it doesn't just have to be for Christmas. You know, you have one that has cheers on it. So this could be either New Year's or new job, new you, whatever it is. Cheers. You have just a general thank you card, also with the apple on it. So probably great to use as a gift for your teachers. And then one that says yay, which is basically what they'll be saying when they open it. Find a gift card in there. But again, these are only using just those principal techniques. This is just embroidery and applique. That's it. When we make the bags themselves, we're just stitching out the front, which has all the design elements on it. As I try to flip this back right side out. And then they're just combining it in various ways and then tacking those 2 things together to finish it all up. And these are lined on the inside, which is what I was trying to show you here. So they look beautiful inside and out. You don't have all the messy lock stitches and everything else on there. And you can get all those that I just showed you individually, which you can get all of our things individually online, but the biggest special we have always had is our all access membership, which is our club membership. And what that does is it bundles everything we release every single month all together at an enormous discount that begins at 80% off. We never do sales that are that big because we save those for our all access members. And you can see I was showing you the back there. This is what our all access members get every single month, is they get the digital and printed version of our all access tutorial book. There's just a digital only option as well. And you can see here, that's everything that was released as a standard retail product in the month of August. So you have all your embroidery designs, quilting, projects, and you can get all of these things for the price of buying one or two of them individually at full retail price on our website. It is the best deal we always offer. As I mentioned, it's a tutorial book, so we combine all the tutorials in there for you. Every single design is always brand new every single month. And just to give you an idea here, so we have a table of contents to walk you through everything. Tons of different pictures giving you examples, inspiration of what you can use all these different projects for. We have all the different pictures of the finished stitch outs, which I think one of the biggest, most popular ones from this month was From the Farm by Anita Goodesign, by us. And then finally, of course, we have all of our different picture steps, as well as in the back, you'll have the various number steps as well. And what this does is it just combines everything into one spot for you. All the designs you can download unlimited amount of times to your account on Anita Goodesign. There's 3 ways to sign up, and bobbin thread is almost empty. There's 3 ways to sign up, and one of those ways is for $1,400 for a whole year. Breaks down to roughly about $116 a month if you want to look at it that way. And every single...
Do you need a bobbin?
Nah, I'll just switch it to the white one. Okay. Yeah, good point. Every single design is brand new every single month. So, you know, our members this month got this book. You'll get a brand new book every month for 12 months being a member. And to put that in perspective, that $1,400 for a whole year's worth of all access, I don't know why I took that out, is actually cheaper than going out and buying 1 or 2 collections a month. Because buying 1 or 2 collections a month, you're going to find that you see even more you want, and you're going to end up spending a lot more on buying those individual designs than you would as a club member getting everything and having a huge library to go through. That $1,400 for the year all access membership also comes with a physical book as well as a $1,400 gift card. So you're immediately given the amount that you spent to get a year's worth of brand new stuff. You're immediately given a $1,400 gift card back so that you can go out and build your library from previously released standard retail projects. Get that guy going again. And that's just the first way. So the second and third way are $999 for the year with no gift card. We give that price break. There's a lot of people who have literally everything we've ever made and don't really have much to pick from. And then we have our digital only option, which is $499 for the year. You get absolutely everything. And that one is just digital, so you don't get the actual physical book with that. And that's for people who really just have no interest in having any more physical stuff in their house to take up space. But all 3 options still get the actual digital version of the tutorial. So you can go on our website if you're more interested in that. If you really find that you're starting to spend a lot, then before you check out next time on your shopping cart, go ahead and check out our all access. If you do decide to purchase, just go ahead and when you do go through the checkout, check the order notes and type in Bryan. That way they know where you saw this. As I'm talking, messing with the bobbin. Try this one more time. If I keep having bobbin issues, we're just going to end this because I don't want you to have to watch me do maintenance on a machine while we're doing a tutorial. And we'll just call him Left Eye. if he doesn't finish up. All right. Let's see here. I think we are good to go. Okay. Nope. So, it's almost done anyway. It literally has 1 minute left. And isn't that usually the case? We're just going to go ahead and take this out. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how this looks and what we do next. So, of course, we have the almost finished stitch out of Owlie the left eye. Or he's semi-winking, I don't know, whatever you want to call that. But once you're done with this, you take it out of the hoop. You can wash these things out in a sink if you like, but a lot of people like doing it in the bowl because when you start to rinse your water soluble, it's going to turn to gel. So the first thing I always recommend and tell people is you want to trim away as much as possible. You don't have to get it exact, but the less you have that's not in the design, the less of a mess you're going to have. Likewise, if you take it to a sink and rinse out a whole sheet of this stuff, you risk clogging up your drains if you don't let it run for quite some time. And we like doing it with the OxyClean if it pertains to what we're trying to do. But something like this, I would just trim it roughly around the edge and then just dip it in the bowl of warm water for just a few seconds, take it out, and then I would have my owl nice and stiff so it's not too flimsy, ready to rock and roll wherever I might wear him, whether it's on my necklace or my wristlet or my earrings, or maybe I just hang him from a tree. It's up to you. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up one of the easiest projects you'll ever do. Next week, Melissa's going to teach you how to do printed fabric, which was a really fun type of project that I helped prototype probably 6 or 7 years ago when Anita Goodesign first started getting into printed fabric. So if you'd like to learn more about that, or if you'd even like to do this project with me or anything from August, be sure to go to our website. Remember that we have that BOGO sale going on right now, so you can not only get the August if you want, but you can get any of the previous watch and stitches with it, or any other combinations of things. There's a lot under that special for you. Check it out now. And thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next week on another watch and stitch. And be sure to tag us on social media with what you stitched out. Thank you, and goodbye.